In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.
Today, and Montana has added 13 players to their roster. We've got Coach Hauck and Coach Green with us. And Coach Hauck, we'll just start with you and your thoughts on these 13 men joining the program and how the recruiting situation looks for the Grizzlies as the early signing period starts.
Great, thanks, James. So we always enjoy signing day as coaches, but it's become a little bit anticlimactic compared to what it used to be. You know, we've got 2 signing days. We've got a first one, we have a second one. We have the transfer piece. You know, so that it all adds different elements to this. Recruiting's really changed in this era, but we're always going to have 2 foundational elements in every recruiting class in our recruiting. That's going to be high school kids and Montana kids. So this is a great day to get guys signed. We'll continue to recruit. You know, it's kind of an everyday deal all year round. There will be a transfer piece to it. There will be some late signings in February, probably not very many. So the foundation of our class is these guys that we're announcing today, and Taves is giving you the information on each one. So with that, go ahead.
Questions?
Coach, just looking at Keali'i making his commitment official, just obviously you know Brian pretty well. Just what is it like getting a kid like him who's got such a strong legacy tied to this school, and you know just what do you like about his game?
Well, gosh, excuse me. There's several guys in the class that have ties to the program with parents, but you know Brian Ayat was a great player here. Was a Hall of Famer, and to have his son here is a really cool deal. But the reason Keali'i's here is because he's a good player. He can do a lot of things. You know, it was an interesting time for him in high school because the way Hawaii was so shut down and remained shut down with the coronavirus deal. It was just kind of over the top, and he didn't have a ton of film. But he came to camp here and really did a great job. And he's a great young man. We're just excited to have him.
This classified position, 4 offensive linemen, was that a position group you guys maybe highlighted this latest cycle, or just looking for depth, or is that just kind of how it played out?
In terms of the O-line, we're always trying to highlight that. You never want to get caught in a situation where we don't have those big guys up front, and in order to do that, you have to take a number of them every year. So we're always going to emphasize the 2 fronts. Those kids are hard to find. I think we did well. Great kids and fired up about it.
What are maybe some words or ways that you would describe overall just this group?
Say that one more time, Sean. Sorry. I'm sorry. You and I sometimes we don't speak the same.
Maybe
way.
some.
You're just that much younger.
Maybe some words or ways to describe overall this.
I'm sorry.
This
I
class.
thought you said waves. I was going to get into the surfing dissertation with the Hawaiians. You know, it's fairly normal. I think we're right where we needed to be. You know, we really, for the most part, stopped recruiting high school guys a couple months ago. We didn't have a big senior class when I had 13 was the number, and so it's a pretty small class. But these guys are all capable. I think they all have bright futures in college football. So these guys are good players and good guys, which is sort of what we want.
With the number being 13, how much of that is the way your numbers are with a lot of underclassmen on the program already? How do you go about navigating how many you want to bring in, you know, in a signing period like this?
Yeah, that's the art or the maybe impossible task right now is to roster management is is crazy in college football right now. It's kind of a circus, not here, everywhere. So you do your best, and we'll, you know, like I said when I started, we'll continue to recruit. The foundation's these guys.
Justin, when you go about the roster construction part, and there's just so many kids out there and names, and what was kind of the strategy going about it for this class, and how has maybe your role changed over the years from when you first kind of started doing this a long time ago to now?
Well, as far as the class, I think the biggest thing is finding the right guys. Finding the right guys that fit your program, finding the right guys as far as position that we're looking for. And as far as the change, I would say, you know, since day one, it's changed. You know, every year is something different, and you got to figure out a way to find your niche in what you do. Your base is your base as far as how you do things, and then you just kind of have to roll with the punches as far as rules change, and you know, I'm guessing you're alluding to the transfer portal, and you know, just make sure that we're on the same playing field as our competitors, and come up with ways that it's going to be productive for us as a team.
As the running backs coach, I want to ask you about Iverson and just the excitement about bringing him in, and what he does well that has you excited.
You know, when Coach Hauck first got here, you know, his vision is to always make sure we're bringing in a running back every year, a guy who's going to be able to come in and compete and do the things that we're asking him to do, and he's one of those guys. You know, as far as his success in high school, you know, we think we've determined that he's our type of guy, and that he can be a good player for us.
Bobby, you mentioned some of the legacy ties. Cameron Guernsey, Austin Beeler. Is there anybody else that has family ties to the program?
I think it's those three. So it's
Beeler, and
Guernsey.
Yeah, okay.
The three, yeah.
How about the Montana guys then? I mean, Beeler, start with him. I mean, he's got a great frame, really big upside. So what do you like about him on the offensive line?
Well, you said it. I'll just reiterate what you just said. Is he's got a good frame. He can move his feet. He's a good athlete. He's a multi-sport guy. Yeah, I think Austin's got a huge upside. You know, those guys are hard to find. I mean, you can go to lots of high schools. There aren't a ton of kids that look like Austin walking around the halls.
A couple kids from Capital too, Austin being one of them, and Hayden Opitz being another one. Do you like recruiting from programs that had a lot of success?
Well, to a degree. You know, football's a hard game in terms of numbers. You have a lot of good players to win games, and that's probably why occasionally you'll see us with multiple players off of one team. But that doesn't preclude somebody else. You know, you could be a great player. I mean, an absolutely great player, and there's not any good players around you. You're not going to win a football game. So, with that being said, you know, Capital had a huge year, and there's a reason they had good coaching and good players.
Stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. Shorty what you want, shorty what you need. My niggas run game, we ain't never leaving. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleeping. You got V12s, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got weed, got Molly. I'm all the way up. Shorty what you want, I got what you need. Shorty what you want, I got what you need.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, yeah.
The first time I ever saw Clay Oven was actually on the track. Great 400-meter runner. I mean, do you like the diversity that he has just athletically?
Well, we typically recruit guys that play multiple sports. I like it for a variety of reasons. One of the things is they're competing all year and they're keeping score, rather than just a couple games a year in the fall. But Clay's a really good-looking athlete. He does a lot of things. He's got a big frame, he's fast for a kid that's, got his size and arm length. He's a really good-looking athlete.
I remember a couple of years ago, you said you wanted to put a high priority on kids that come from close by, not just Montana, but maybe surrounding states where their families can drive here. Is that still a high priority when you're recruiting?
Well, I think those are the guys you're more likely to be able to get. You guys, not all of you are parents in the room, but we are. And you like being able to watch your kids play all the different sports. And so it's attractive for kids in the region because it's attractive for their parents to be able to play. Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't preclude you from getting guys from out of the area either.
A question for both of you guys. I know that it is sort of a, like you said, sort of a circus, but how do you sort of balance bringing in kids from the high school ranks and then also what's going to be available in the portal? Because like you said, it just seems like it's always a moving target.
I'm going to start and you can
Sure.
follow up. There's a lot of film to watch. There's very little structure to the transfer piece. We don't view it any differently in terms of numbers than we used to with junior college recruiting or whatever, right? But the three most populous places in America are New York, LA, and the transfer portal. So there's a lot to get through. Got to get the right guys, and it's really hard to manage. It's maybe impossible.
I mean, Justin, when you do have literally thousands of pieces of film that you can watch, how do you sort of start deciphering all of it?
Well, this staff has a lot of connections, of ties outside of Montana, and we have coaching history that is long. So as far as having the tie to be able to get to certain coaches and hear from them as far as the players potentially we could be recruiting, that's definitely a good thing for us. Guys that we prior recruited, that's always something to look at because you have some type of relationship with them. And again, when you're just looking at a bunch of names, looking at names houses you've been in, that's important. I would say that your region is going to be important because of where we're located. Has some push to guys that we're going to attract. As they get in the portal, they can reach out to us. That's a big thing. And a lot of the guys that have reached out to us have seen us on TV. That's their number one thing. They've seen Montana on TV quite a bit, and that's been a cool thing to hear from the guys that want to potentially be prospects for us. So, we're going to take everything from all the different angles that we can as far as how we, how we're going to evaluate, find a name. We're not the only ones doing it. We're about to go to a convention where they're going to try to sell us all kinds of software to how to make it easier for us. So, you just, again, you have your way of doing it. Be good at it, so the guys you get in here are going to help you be successful.
The only, I guess, quote-unquote, surprise Lucas Freitas, I think he was committed somewhere else before this, but you swung him. How did you guys go about landing that one, and what do you think of just him as a prospect?
Guys want to be here, and when we find guys that we like that are on our board, and give them the opportunity to go get a guy, we'll put all our efforts in to go do that. So.
I'm Coach Green with Iverson, all the way down in Texas, and just part of a committee. How did you find him? Like, how did you guys get connected, and what was that recruiting trail like?
Again, you have resources all over the country to help you find out where guys are. The good thing is we have a direct flight right into Dallas, which is kind of a neat, which is really a neat deal. So our recruiting has picked up quite a bit down there. And again, it's about finding the right guys. And our coaching staff has done a great job as far as using the resources that we have to find, anyone who wants to be a Griz.
And then when you're out there on the road, how are you selling it? What do you want guys to know that they're going to get from this experience?
I think first and foremost, the guys we're looking for are tough guys. We're looking for guys that are doing it both on and off the field. Character is a big part of what we're looking for. Our connection with the high school coaches is a big part of what we do, as far as trusting that when they say, hey, he's the best guy we've ever coached, or telling us the negative too. He's not the guy that's going to fit in your program. Guys know what our program is about, and they know that they're going to be coached. The high school coaches know that they're going to be coached. So they don't want our guys to leave Montana, and I would say it's kind of shown proof. We haven't had as many guys in the portal as other schools may have had. So I think our relationships, both with our recruiting, going out recruiting, as well as our relationship with our players, has really helped that.
I'm just kind of curious for both of you. A lot of these Montana kids played both ways in high school. I'm just curious what aspects go into deciding which side of the ball he'll play once he gets here.
Well, we watch the film, and you make evaluations based on what you see on film. Who knows where it all goes? These guys are seniors in high school. They're 3 and 4 years in here. They might be playing something else. That's kind of where we project them.
To kind of piggyback off that, Jackson Tucker played both lines for West, and you have him listening here at D-line. What do you like about that? And is it kind of nice knowing you bringing in guys that do play both offensive lines, because you have guys like Journey Grimsrud who makes a transition? Is it kind of nice knowing that you have versatility even though you pick a position for them?
Yeah, as long as they can get big enough, speed at every position's probably the critical element. Frames. So there's certain parameters that we're looking for. Not that there aren't exceptions to every one, but guys that can run at their position. You got to be fast enough to excel at your position. So we think Jackson can do that on the defense. He's a big, good-looking kid.
And then, Justin, you guys have talked about in the past how your camps are such a big deal to get kids here and get a look at them in first person. You have a couple of Billings kids here, Libby, things like that. How big is that camp, especially evaluating, especially some of these places that are kind of far away, like eastern Montana? How big is that when you get those kids here?
It's the difference in many cases, because we get them up close and personal. We get to work them out, get to move around. I actually think from this list there might be all but two that came to camp. So, including our out-of-state guys, that's a pretty big deal. Or at least got on campus, and see the place, and us be able to see them. To see the interest that
we like it when they see it in June and July. Today isn't as good a day. If we had a visit going today, we wouldn't get anybody.
We had a visit a few years ago where it was a day similar to today, and the kid comes back in the, all right, I'm coming to Montana. Comes back in the summer and he goes, Coach, there's no snow on the ground. And it was kind of, the kid thought that the snow was going to be on the ground all year and committed to us anyway.
Jimmy Wilson came and was looking at the mountains going, I didn't know those mountains were here. What are you talking about?
Shoot, this is the first time I ever saw snow when I was here as a recruit. It's the first time I ever saw it, so fell in love with it. And it's pretty neat.
With Dylan Cohen and Tate Templeton, not a few guys who didn't have a whole ton of offers, what did you guys see in them, and what does potential look like in the offensive line?
I don't know. Those, most of those offensive linemen are multi-years away, so they're going to be here in the fall, and we're going to throw them in the weight room until we get to work, and we'll see where it goes.
And then, is quarterback something you guys are still looking for in the transfer portal? Is that becoming more of a priority now, or are you comfortable with what you have in that room coming in as of now?
No, we need to fill chairs in a lot of rooms, not just quarterback. Yeah, we're looking. Every backup quarterback in America is in the transfer portal right now. Some starters.
I think maybe the only guy we didn't touch on that we don't know very well, Jalen Hall, either or. Justin, just kind of what you saw from him, what was the kind of the connection there that brought him here?
So modern day Chula Vista, as a school, we've actually been recruiting for quite some time. Now, the problem is we haven't been able to get a player from that because they've, Pac-12 guys, and, they got a couple of SEC receivers. And spending the time, again, the relationship I've had with the coach there, he truly believes that this is a young man that has it. When they have, I think they might have 6 receivers that have scholarships. And definitely he's one of them. And, for a guy that the coach trusts and wants him on the football field, and feels like he has to have him on the football field for them to be successful, is a guy that should be a good guy for us. Does the dirty work, blocks, not afraid to go across the middle. And again, the relationship with the coach, he's not going to give me a guy who he doesn't think is going to be successful here.
Thanks, everybody.